Melissa, we're back. Our recording schedule is a little bit wonky, but we're back. Happy to be here. I was out of town this past weekend, so we're recording this on a Tuesday night. And I'm excited to be here. Excited to podcast.
Good.
Yeah. How about you? How are you, Melissa?
I'm doing fine. Very tired, but excited. We've got good stuff planned tonight. Excited to catch up here.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I was like, I will not take a nap today. And then I immediately took a nap after I said that.
Do you have jet lag from going all the way from Oklahoma to Virginia?
No, the time difference is really only an hour, so no jet lag. But since it was a wedding that we went out there for, we were partying and stuff, so we were up a little bit later than normal, and all that good stuff. So I'm tired too. I'm exhausted, but I'm happy to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Whatnauts Captain's Log number 283. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa,
True.
You have a brave and controversial question to open the podcast with. Hit me with it.
Are vests just adult bibs?
No! How dare you? What? No!
Now I am not talking about a dapper waistcoat or the dashing little vest like Han Solo wears. A lot of the guys in my office, and some of the ladies too, wear these fleece vests. That's what I'm talking about. The fleece vest that zips all the way up to your neck.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood it. I'm like, why is only my torso cold, but not my arms? What is it for? It doesn't look stylish. It's fleece. Fleece is not smart business. It's not in the dress code.
It's
not like
casual.
A nice wool suit jacket. Right. You know, it is the company logo on it, but they already know you work here. The client comes in. They're not like, I'm confused. Who do you work for? Oh, I've checked the vest. I see. You are my advisor that I'm here to meet. I'm just sort of confounded by them. And it doesn't seem like anybody else is. These seem very normal to everybody else. And I realized what I think it is. I think the vest exists so that you don't spill anything on your nice business shirt. If you spill something on your sleeves, you just put the blazer on.
That makes more sense. But just as a bib in general, no, I don't think so. Because like I feel like when I think of a bib, right? I think the two obvious examples are like a
baby and lobster
bib and a lobster one, or the like napkin tuck. Right? The like tucking a napkin inside your shirt. But with that, it kind of only covers your chest, and it's loose enough that you can like use it as a napkin. You can pull it up to like wipe your mouth and stuff like that. So in that case, you can't really do that with a vest, right? You can't like pull it up to wipe your mouth.
That
you can't wipe your mouth
try
on your sleeve, right?
Just pulling up this like fleece tube over your face. You do point out, I look at a bib as a stain protector. And what is a vest if not also that? But you do raise a good point in that it is also a napkin.
Right. But yeah, like the fleece, even though it might help protect from stains, is maybe more like a coverall or an apron in that regard.
An apron may be a better way to put it. Yes.
Sure.
A fleece vest with the company logo on it is just an apron that you can walk around wearing at any time. Apparently with any ensemble.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody stops them.
It's not proper cooking attire, so it's not the like full apron.
Probably flammable.
Yeah, you're not dealing with like hazardous chemicals or anything, so it's not a true coverall or anything like that. So yeah, it feels like a work appropriate apron, top half apron. Just
I'd
like,
love to just wear the apron though. I think I'd look very cute. I am a butler.
Right.
And butlers don't wear aprons, but maids do. Yes.
I want fancy apron would be nice.
Right. Little white lace apron. I get like the little hat. I'd love that if that was my look. Really take it seriously. Maybe do that for Halloween.
Does work supply you with like an authentic feathered duster?
Oh, I wish. I'd love that.
That'd be awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I'd say more an apron than a bib there. So,
all right. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for engaging me in this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Melissa, I think you also have a cereal to eat that you wanted to chow down on while I told you about my wedding adventures.
Right.
So what's this cereal?
Because I can only eat and not talk. We talk about cereal a lot here, but we've never brought a cereal to the show. We're mostly sodas, sometimes Oreos and candy. So I spotted this at the store. This is Kelce Mix. It's those two football brothers. Right, they took their 3 favorite cereals and put them in a box together, and General Mills sells it to you this way. So there is nothing new here. These are the pre-existing Reese's Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Lucky Charms that you know and love that you could buy in 3 separate bowls. But the football brothers put it in one box together. I don't know if this is how they eat it at home. If that's how they grew up.
So that's how they came up with it, right?
Or if they just, one of them's a Reese's guy, one of them's a Lucky Charms guy, and they both agree on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And they're like, our idea for a collab is you pour those 3 flavors in a box and you put our faces on it, both photograph and cartoon.
Yeah.
I feel cheat. There's not a maze or a game on here. I'm a little upset.
the navigating the flavors is the true maze of what this is.
Convert football to a back of the cereal box game somehow.
Right?
I'd like to see you try.
You can just do the old school paper football thing, right?
Yeah, the part of I don't know if you can do. I don't know if paper football works out of something thicker than standard paper. I don't know if you can cardboard football. Never tried.
You probably could.
What is the heaviest substance that you can football? Lead?
Let's play lead football. Next episode of the Captain's Log. Lead football.
Any material that comes in a sheet, we have to test if it can be paper footballed. Can you make one out of
we need myth busters to come back to do what is the heaviest paper football that is acceptable.
Just thwacking a sticky Fruit Rollup wad across the table. I love. Kids out there, do you need a science fair project this year? This could get you that blue ribbon.
Yeah, you never know. First place.
But I'm familiar with these cereals individually. My personal ranking would be Cinnamon Toast Crunch, then Reese's Puff, then Lucky Charms. High highs and low lows with Lucky Charms. The other ones are more well-rounded.
Sure, yeah.
Is that also your ranking?
I believe so. Cinnamon Toast Crunch would be my favorite of the 3. Reese's Puffs is real good. Though we also recently talked about the Reese's Puffs minis. Those are
little.
Oddly better, I feel like.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know what the science is there, but they are better than big Reese's. Or Reese's the way we know them. Reese's could be bigger. I'd try it if you gave me a Reese's Puff the size of a ping pong ball. I don't know what that would do.
Right. Interesting. Interesting.
But I just wanted to eat the cereal while you tell a story. Let's observe the pour.
Ooh, that's a good pour. Uh-huh.
There is a good mixture here. You do get a little bit of everything in one pour. It's not like all the Lucky Charms sink to the bottom.
That's good. That's good. Um, so yes, I was out of town this weekend at my friend's wedding, my old roommate. I left on Thursday, got there Thursday night, kind of hung out a bit on Friday. I went to the rehearsal dinner, not the full rehearsal, but the actual like dinner portion of it.
Mhm.
On Friday night. Their wedding was on Saturday. So Sunday we kind of got to rest and recover. Same thing on Monday morning, and then I flew back on Monday evening. And then today, Tuesday, we took the day off. We ran some errands and then have been relaxing on the couch. But yeah, I got to stay with my other former roommate, who I typically stay with when I'm out there for work and stuff like that. But the like rehearsal dinner was great. The food was incredible.
Mm.
The woman that he got married to, she works at a bar not like a block and a half from where my like in-person office would be. And the food at that restaurant is incredible. They got these braised short ribs that are just to die for. And so I had that. Rachel had the salmon. She tried. Mine was also like, yours is decidedly better than what I have here, but it's still great.
Thank you for recapping this to me day by day, dish by dish.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going into everything we did here, so buckle up. Yeah. And then Saturday for the actual wedding. It started at 4:30, so we got into our outfits and stuff like that. So for the rehearsal dinner, it was like, it was a little bit more casual. Guys in button ups and slacks and stuff like that. Girls in pantsuits or dresses. And Rachel wore this like red jumpsuit thing, which was fantastic. She looked awesome. And I was just in this like light gray button up and some khakis. But had fun with that. For the actual wedding itself, though, Rachel had this really dark navy jumpsuit with like a green floral pattern on it. And
big ups to Rachel on these choices. Rachel, a tall, lovely woman, can probably wear a jumpsuit better than anyone else I can think of. Great choices. Nobody else can do back-to-back jumpsuits, but I believe that she can.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it is like a surprisingly dark navy. It's almost black, and yet like I at first like for months was like, oh, that's black, and then we looked and was like, no, that's really dark navy. But on top of the jumpsuit, she had this velvet blazer cape. It's not a full blazer, but like the back is open and like the arms are open, so it's almost like a cape on that. But it was awesome. She looked incredible. I had a green dress shirt and a navy blazer to match her. Had my khakis. I bought some shoes just for the wedding. They were these like brown leather Vans that look a little bit more like dress shoes than actual like, those are sneakers. Kyle, what are you doing wearing sneakers to a wedding? But yeah, that was a lot of fun. The reception was great. It was short and sweet. The they so on their card that like listed who the bridal party was and who all the groomsmen were, all of that stuff. Instead of flower girl, they had it was flower. Ah, fuck, I forget. It was something else, and then the ring bearer was the ring dude. Ring dude. And when they came down the aisle, instead of throwing out flowers, she was tossing out THC gummies.
Wow.
And he
Loose?
is no, like packaged. They must have gotten
Okay.
a bunch made.
Like
And they were
Halloween
all
candy.
individually packaged. Yeah. And then he like underneath his coat had on I don't even know what you would call it, but like it's strapped to him, but he could have like multiple cans of beer. So he had like a whole 12 pack on him and was passing them out to people.
Oh my God. The lucky person who got one, because if there's
One of
only
each,
12
yeah.
beers,
Right. Yeah.
you're chosen if you get one of the 12 beers. You have to remember you got one of the beers, and then they collect you at the reception for some sort of ritual.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, it was fantastic. It was short and sweet. After they did their vows and all that good stuff, there was like a little cocktail happy hour bar that we could go to while they set up for the reception. And then, yeah, during the reception itself, there's some great barbecue, just like Southern comfort food, like barbecue brisket, mac and cheese, collards. It was all delicious. Lots of dancing, lots of drinking. We had not assigned seats, but assigned tables, and at every table, the groom, my former roommate Bobby, he does a little bit of like wood burning stuff on the side. So a part of Rachel's outfit, she wore some of his earrings that he had made. But for every guest that came, he made an individualized wooden shot glass. For us. Yeah, so I'm holding this up on camera if you're watching the YouTube version. It's maybe 2-3 inches tall, but it's just a big hole in the top that he did with some kind of Dremel and a sander to smooth it out. The wood's been treated, but then my name is on it here on the side. Him and his wife have they've had their own version of these for a while. In the back of my mind, I was always like, man, those are so cool. Like, and then to see like we get there and literally everyone has one. It was
That's
amazing.
cute.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's a very. I've
awesome.
never had a take home that was made by hand of one of the spouses at a wedding. They just order something.
Yeah, it's like here's a bunch of we also got like sunglasses with the like stuff written on it and stuff like that. But yeah, usually get like some kind of knickknack or something. But
I love the idea of yourself or another couple going to the wedding, getting these 2 shot glasses that look the same, have their name engraved on them, and they just look like little wooden monoliths.
Right.
And I love the idea of repurposing those as your own wedding cake topper. Like instead of a bride and groom figurine or whatever configuration you are, 2 wooden monoliths with your name inscribed on them. Welcome to the wedding of Monolith and Monolith.
There's an account. I know it's at least on Threads. I don't know if it's on other stuff. So it might be on Instagram too. But every day they post a new picture of characters from movies or TV show made entirely out of Lego bricks, but they're not detailed ones. It's just the like the like small 1x2
Mhm.
bricks just like standing up straight, so there's no detail, and you have to like guess who it
Huh.
is. That might be something like these just weird little monoliths, right? You could just repurpose for whatever you need. But yeah, we had a blast, lots of dancing, open bar, so we had a quite a bit to drink.
Was there a photo booth?
No photo booth, but there were
Hmm.
photographers, just getting all the stuff as usual.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
I have to hire a photo booth for an upcoming work event. And I've had to look at a lot of different photo booth websites lately. I was just curious if you saw anything new and exciting.
Nothing comes to mind off the top of my head, but there's all sorts of weird creative things that you can come up with, right? So I don't know, but yeah, we had a good time. After the wedding, here's an exciting story.
Oh.
So
Did you split the 100-piece chicken meal together as a party?
Yes, we went to New York John John's. We got the 100-piece chicken. Me and Rachel eating challenge. No. So yeah, I mean, we were thankfully not super hungover that next day, thanks to Liquid IV. We got ourselves a bunch of those. They're a huge help.
Pro. I drank 2 Liquid IVs back to back when I was in Florida a couple weeks ago. It fixed me up right.
They're amazing. Yeah, I took 2 of them with me to the wedding, to the reception.
Excellent
so
choice.
We could have
they should have been throwing those out.
Right.
That's what I'd do. Here's flower petals and also a Liquid IV.
Glass is a Liquid IV. Yeah. Yeah, but so I like to kind of get us out and about after we had mostly recovered from our minor hangovers. I took Rachel out on a date to Maymont Park. This is a giant park that if you are ever in Richmond, absolutely go check out Maymont Park. If I'm not mistaken, the entire property used to belong to a single family, a very old, rich family from back there. Yeah, huge.
What? Wow. There's like this historic Victorian home.
Yep.
There's all this stonework and bridges and benches and like sculptural gardens.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that's really something.
And they have a Japanese garden. They have an Italian style garden. They have this whole like wildlife walk that you can go do. So we got to like they have like your typical petting zoo section where it's like here's a horse and here's a goat and here's a llama and here's all of that stuff. But then you can continue down the path and you can go see there's a black bear, there's a bobcat. They have a whole section on birds of prey. And when we went into this birds of prey section, they you get to see an owl. Like multiple kinds of owls, a falcon. They had a black vulture. But while we're in there, they have signs up like, "Hey, please keep your voices down. No big, loud, sudden movements. Don't scare the birds." Basically, and so we get through like the first little section. And we can kind of hear another group behind us as they're coming in. And all of a sudden, we just hear these kids screaming. And we're like, what is happening? So, we look back and we can see that there is a bird, not a part of the exhibit, just an actual bird just out and about. Who knows? It may have gotten out, but it was not in its cage, and it was swooping in on them. It was attacking them, and then after it got bored with them, it came right for us. Melissa, I had to duck and move out of the way of this falcon that swooped at me. I saw my life flash before my eyes. I could have come back with like scratches from a bird of prey, an eye missing, something, I don't know, but like it was kind of wild. And like,
what a turn. Podcast completely the same. You just have an eye patch now.
Yeah, entering my eye patch era. but like legitimately, it was like the bird that was swooping in there was another one of that exact same bird like in an enclosure and stuff. So it was like this is some like falcon, like bird of prey, just like
is this a jailbreak?
Around.
Is one of them trying to get the other one out?
I don't know. But it was just what a wild story. I almost got attacked by a bird, right?
Oh my God.
Rachel had said like as I was ducking and moving out of the way, she was making direct eye contact with it and was like getting out of the way. Yeah.
I believe she could tame the falcon if she wanted
I'm sure,
to.
right? Just arm up.
Just you're that at it. They know what it means. You're coming home with me.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, it was beautiful weather the entire time we were out there. While we were at the park, we also went and got snow cones. They had a food truck that had pulled up there. But yeah, they got a huge Japanese garden with a ginormous pond with a bunch of like koi fish and catfish and stuff like that. A big waterfall.
2 best fish.
Yeah. Their Italian gardens is you typically see a lot of like bridal photo shoots happening there. There had to have been like 4 or 5 quinceañeras happening while we were
That's fun to see.
there. Right. Yeah. So we took a couple hours and just walked around the park and explored it and stuff like that. People go there and have picnics. We saw an artist who was out there with a whole easel and canvas and was painting and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good. It was good fun. We had a blast.
I'm looking at photos of this place, and they have a garden glow. And the garden glow I know of in my own local botanical gardens is they put a bunch of lights up all over the place. Holiday lights, string lights.
Yeah.
What the Maymont garden glow is like they put a bulb underneath the tree and they light it from below, and the whole tree is just cast in one light. They did not put lights on it. They're just illuminating the entire thing in like pink or green or blue.
So they were setting up when we were exploring. And so for like they were doing it in different sections of the park, and they had some where they had these like giant floral sculptures that they had like built into the ground or were hanging on wires and stuff like that, and those were supposed to light up. They had these big long like almost to look like cat grass or something that could like flow in the wind a little bit more, that would also light up. They lit trees by put like shining lights on them. In the Japanese gardens, they had a bunch of the like lanterns and stuff hung up in the trees to do all of that stuff. There were even these like almost they're not roses, but some kind of red flower that they also had like sculptures of that were hanging from the trees that were supposed to light up and stuff like that. So all sorts of stuff.
This is incredible. I've never seen this exact tactic. Maybe you'll see this on a couple trees, but I love that they did that to the whole park.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, it was all over. Our Uber driver was like, "Oh, have you ever been to the jazz festival in Maymont Park?" And I was like, "No, I've never been." So yeah, they have all kinds of festivals and events and tours you can go on while you're out on the park. They have audio tours. They have so there is an exhibit that is kind of open to at least look at, but it was like old like buggies and cars and stuff from like this the 1700s and stuff like that. That you can see. They're working a little bit on the mansion right now, but you can get tours of that. I think they have like an indoor kind of aquarium kind of thing, not super large, but just like a smaller one that you can get tours of as well. So there's plenty of things to do at this park because it is a huge park. So
wow,
yeah, it was good. It was fun.
I'd go to Richmond just for this. This is so special.
Yeah, it was a blast. We had a great time.
It's my goal for 2025 to tour something.
Yeah.
I don't care what. Just walk me around, show it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You should go on like a haunted tour in your city or something like that. Or who knows? Take a weekend trip to a neighboring town and see what kind of museums they got and just go on a tour.
I got to go backstage at a theater last night.
Ooh,
I'd like to do that again. I'd like to go to a factory. I've never taken the Anheuser-Busch brewery tour the whole time I've lived here.
Okay.
Not much of a beer drinker, but that shouldn't stop me. I still want to see how they do it.
Right, yeah. That'd be fun. Do they have like a restaurant or something that's attached or like nearby? Because you could also do the tour and then go eat afterwards.
Maybe, probably, at least a pretzel, at least a soft pretzel, and that would be just fine.
Good stuff. So, yeah, that was most of our trip to Richmond. So good stuff.
Very happy. Congrats to your roommate.
Yeah, congrats to them.
Congrats to all. Congrats to Rachel and her 2 jumpsuits.
She looked fantastic. I'll send you some pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, let's take a quick break for housekeeping right there. And when we come back, Melissa, we got to talk about our movie fantasy league draft picks. All that stuff. Also got a pop culture lightning round and our cinema corner to talk about. So we will.
And I can review this cereal.
Yes, exactly.
Now that I've eaten it.
We need the final results of the cereal, the verdict. So all that when we come back. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you didn't know, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. But none of this is possible without your support. Head over to patreon.com/thewhatnauts, and you can get access to over 40 hours of exclusive content, including our Patreon first podcast, The Pilots Club. When you sign up at our $3 tier,
are we dressing up as
there is a free version of the Pilots Club available, but episodes are exclusive to our Patreon for 2 years before they hit the free feeds. If you're interested in buying merch, we have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more for sale over at thewhatnauts.com/store. Another great way to help us out is by subscribing and leaving a nice rating and review on your podcasting app of choice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for video versions of the show, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, you can always find out more information about the shows we make on our website, thewhatnauts.com. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you a lot. Thanks a ton. We appreciate it. over on the Pilots Club, since it's October, we had to go something spooky, and we did Junji Ito's Uzumaki. We did the first episode of that. I think that was pretty exciting to talk about. The first episode was fantastic. Melissa, I have not dived into the second episode yet, but I have seen the online reaction.
Yes.
Have you seen what people are talking about? Can you spot the difference?
Something very notable happens in the second episode.
Sure. Yes. I'm not. So yeah. From what I understand, big dip in quality. From the animation in episode 1 onwards, and Jason DeMarco of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. I'm not sure where he's at exactly in the whole Warner Brothers conglomerate of stuff. Had put out a post briefly and then deleted it, basically being like, yeah, we got screwed big time. And so we either had to pick not to only do episode 1 and put that out and cancel it, or put this out and then have a major drop in quality in the rest of the show. And he was like, we had to make some hard choices there. So that's word on the street. I have not dived back in, but I will go back into Uzumaki. But I will say that first episode, absolutely worth checking out. That was great. That was awesome stuff. And then over on our free version of the Pilots Club, we released our episode on Mockingbird Lane, a kind of in attempt at a modern day remake of the Munsters that unfortunately did not make it to a full show. This one was done by Brian Fuller. So good pedigree of some good TV behind that. However, this one did not have that same X factor, I guess. But yeah, still a good episode nonetheless. Right here on the Captain's Log, last episode, Melissa, you got to tell me all about your trip to Disney World. And then we got to discuss Megalopolis, since we both went to go watch that. I also listened to another podcast recently discussing it, and I'm so glad they had the exact same thought that I did. That was like, someone showed him that meme, that this is the world if me, and like they said that right at the top, and I was like, yes, validated. Thank you. And you also got to talk a little bit about The Substance, which I have still not gone to see or anything like that. So there you go. That's what we did last episode here on the Captain's Log. But keep an eye out, because next episode of the Captain Log is our Halloween special. So Melissa and I will be in costume. We will be taking past stories that we've told on the Captain's Log here and twisting them into horror stories. It will be a blast. It's always pure chaos, which is fun.
It is one of my favorite things we do every year.
It's great. It's great. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Over on the review show, since it is also spooky month, we started to do our spooky picks. Zatanna was our first one that we did over there, kind of exploring the darker magic side of the DC Comics universe. It's a book that we had been wanting to do for a while, and just because there was like 16, 18 issues around there, we just couldn't really slot it in the older format of the show. But now that we're doing it every other week, it fit in perfectly. So we finally got to check out some Zatanna by Paul Dini. So we had fun with that. And then coming up on the review show, we are doing the X Pearl and Maxine trilogy, or I guess just the X trilogy. Is that what it's called? I'm not sure.
I've heard that. Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. down the road too. And I guess I know we had talked about doing a mid-season check-in on Agatha. We have not recorded that yet, so we might get to that this weekend. But keep an eye out for our thoughts on Agatha all along down the road over on the reactor core. Anyways, that's it for housekeeping. So, Melissa, what's the verdict on this cereal concoction?
Good.
Yeah,
I like cinnamon and peanut butter together. They don't get put together enough as often as they should. I like that the cereal has both. Those are the dominant flavors. Yeah. You get the cinnamon and the peanut butter. And every once in a while, that good styrofoamy hit of a Lucky Charms marshmallow.
Indeed.
The Lucky Charms charm bits, they're just here for filler, for texture. They're like the lettuce in a salad. You're not there for the iceberg or the romaine. It just happens.
Let's be honest. We're all there for the croutons, right?
Right. Cereal is like if you're eating a salad that was only croutons.
a dairy vinaigrette on top, right? Gross. Well, good. Yeah, I mean, I did not walk this cereal aisle when I went to the store today, so who knows if my grocery store had it or not. But
this was an end cap treat.
Okay. Interesting.
I'd say no need to buy it. Just buy Reese's Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch and mix them together yourself. The Lucky Charms are just lucky to be allowed along for the ride.
No. Is that referring to one of the brothers, or because
I don't know? I don't know them.
Right?
I don't know them. They do football. One of them dates a singer. One of them probably dates somebody else. I don't know them. They have a mom, and the mom did the coin flip the year both of them were in the Super Bowl. She wore like a jersey that was one of them on the front and the other one on the back, like one of those Barbenheimer shirts. She did it first. She started that. And then Barbenheimer took its cue from Mrs. Kelce.
She's what's his name in Voldemort, right? Just face on the back. Anyways, let's see here. Do we want to do our cinema corner stuff first and get out of the way, or do you want to jump straight into the draft picks that we
our draft picks. Yes. I am very curious about your mindset going into this.
Okay.
The Vulture Movie Fantasy League is something I got very into last year.
Yeah.
You did not play, but you agreed to try it with me this year. We've got like a little mini league of just 5 of our friends.
Yeah.
And the way this game works, just to recap it for the audience.
Sure, yeah.
You have 100 fictional dollars to draft 8 movies of varying dollar amounts. The biggest one this year is $40 for Gladiator 2. And they're any movie that comes out within 2024, whether it's already come out or will come out before the end of the year. And gameplay runs from October through the Oscars and next March. And you get points for awards performance, not just on the Oscars, but on other awards bodies, Golden Globes, BAFTAs, various critic circles. And if the movie is releasing within the gameplay window, then you also get points for the box office. So you have to try and play both of those angles. And you get points for Rotten Tomatoes scores as well. So if you're betting that a movie is going to be bad but still make a lot of money, there gets to be a point where if a Rotten Tomatoes score is so bad, you get negative points. You really have to watch it.
Yeah, I've done a similar thing for video games when we had our crossplay video game podcast, but have not done one for movies yet. And since you had a blast with it last year, I was like, you know what, I should do it this year when you asked me. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's dive in. So yeah, you sent me your little roster and your list of movies, and once I made mine, I also sent you my list here. Do you want to read all of yours off? Do we alternate? What do you want to do? Did you have a mindset of like why you picked the ones you did?
Oh, of course I did. I didn't just pick random. This isn't a dartboard. You can pick out a display name when you enter this game. And yourself and many others will just do like the same internet handle they use everywhere. I try and come up with a different pun every year. The 2 years so far I've done it.
Good one, yeah.
I know. It took me so long to get to this, and when I realized it was a sunshine moment. I saw the light. My display name is Holt and Catch Fire because I've drafted not one but 2 movies starring Nicholas Holt.
Yeah. It would have been amazing if there was enough in there of him to pick a whole roster of his stuff, right? Just all of his.
Man, there's nobody who's in 8 movies a year.
Right?
Not even Willem Dafoe does that, I think. He tops out at like 4. My movie roster is, I tried to spread the money. I've got 2 $25 picks, 2 15s, an 8, a 5, another 5, and a 2.
Okay.
And those picks are Honora, Amelia Perez, A Complete Unknown, The Brutalist, Nosferatu, Juror Number 2, Smile 2, and a very sad-seeming documentary called Sugarcane that I'll probably never watch, but, you know, it's smart to have a documentary in your bunch, and it costs $2.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of these that I'm not super familiar with. I don't think I've seen any kind of anything for Amelia Perez. I don't know what that is.
Do you know what this movie is?
No, not at all.
It is a Zoe Saldana plays a lawyer in Mexico who is trying to bust this drug lord. Okay. And I believe the story goes that she's kidnapped by the drug lord. And the drug lord says, I identify as a woman. Please, can you help me fake my death, escape to a new life, and transition? So it's
that's bonkers.
An LGBTQ plus drug cartel family melodrama musical.
Wow. Okay. Huh.
And I think Selena Gomez plays our titular character Amelia Perez. She plays her ex-wife. And apparently, I think part of the story is that Amelia Perez, under this new identity, goes back and tries to get to know her ex-wife and her kids again. And they have no idea that's her.
It's her, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I've not heard a single thing about that.
It's a wild movie. It's been getting good, like mixed to great reviews. Like it is in the conversation for sure. It's getting nominated. We don't know if it's going to win. It's like in that area. It's a Netflix movie. It won't get any box office, unfortunately, because Netflix just puts their stuff in theaters for like a week to qualify. Yeah. I'm taking this for the nominations. Okay. Like the lead the titular Amelia Perez, Carla Sofia Gascon. She's lead actress potential. Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez in supporting actress. Like this movie is supposed to be technically pretty solid. Could play across the board. Cool. For the multiple nominations and the multiple best original songs, you can have like 2 best original songs nominated at the Oscars. This is good double up potential. And since the director is French, this counts as a best international feature. It could very easily win there.
All of that stuff too, yeah. So
that's the assorted point spread I can get for Amelia Perez.
Question: You can get points for nominations, right? Or do they have to win?
Yes. No. You get points for nominations,
Okay.
wins, and even being on the short list. Like
Sure.
before the Oscar nominations come out, for some of the technical categories, they will announce the short lists, which are, hey, we know, hey, score branch. We know you can't watch every movie that came out this year just in case any of them have an incredible score. So here's a short list of, the people within the branch of, right. This is like a dozen things you can concentrate on. And then most generally the nominations are pulled from that. So you do get points if something pops up on a short list as well.
Okay. And yeah, I also hadn't heard of The Brutalist or the documentary you mentioned, Sugarcane.
The Brutalist is a 3.5 hour long movie shot in Panavision where Adrian Brody plays a Hungarian Jewish architect who comes to America in the late 1940s.
There you
People
go.
love there's major buzz for this 3.5 hour long, heavy, old-fashioned classic architecture tale. There's not just one architecture movie you get to see this year, Kyle. If you like that part of Megalopolis, I just want him to build the building. Why isn't there more building in this movie? You can go see
this
The
would be the one.
Brutalist.
Yeah, this would be the one.
It comes with an intermission. There's one built in.
Oh, there you go. You don't see
Vintage
that very
style.
often anymore. Yeah.
Right?
Bring back intermissions. Those are great.
It's trying to.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. So for me, I just used my normal online display name. I don't remember what everything on my list cost off the top of my head. I'm sure I could log back in and figure all that stuff out. But
I really studied this.
So my roster, I went down and then back up and picked some stuff, and I did not have a specific reason why I'm picking all of these, but it also was not just like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll pick that one. It was like, I think this will do good in some kind of regard, right? So Wicked, I'm sure will be a box office hit. Will have some great music in that. I don't know if it would really be considered for original score if they're gonna use any music from the play.
I don't know if they wrote an original song specifically for the movie. I don't think there's any awards potential for anything that is adapted from a stage musical. There used to be once upon a time, but not anymore.
Sure. Yeah, but I could even see a couple nominations in there for just some more technical stuff like makeup
costumes,
or costuming.
makeup.
Yes,
She's
something
green.
like that. Yeah. After that, I picked Sonic the Hedgehog 3 because somehow those movies have done really well.
That's true. That's a solid one.
They're great with the kids, and that means parents are going to buy a bunch of tickets for the whole family, right?
And this comes out the weekend before Christmas.
Yeah.
Not even on Christmas is a Wednesday this year. That comes out the weekend before Christmas. Mm-hmm. So you get those extra kids are on school break days.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday Night is next up. I haven't seen this yet. I know you have. Yes. You have that on your cinema corner, so I'd love to hear what you think. I've seen the trailer maybe once. It looked fantastic. So I'd like to see what they do with that. That one's a big hopeful. The Apprentice, which I believe is the one about Donald Trump, right?
Yes.
I've heard good things about this one. I feel like this is a drama that will be in the mix for some kind of award nomination.
Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, lots of buzz for the lead and supporting actor. That's good potential.
Indeed. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, because a good animated movie in there,
Yes.
right? This is a studio that has a storied history, a great pedigree.
Yes.
Though I did also think I saw somewhere recently that their studio did lay off a number of people recently, which is unfortunate. But I know a lot of people really enjoy Wallace and Gromit, so I think that one will do well.
Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit won Best Animated Feature like 20 something years ago.
There you go. Yeah,
truly a pedigree.
I have heard nothing but incredible stuff about this next one, Superman: The Christopher Reeve Story. I know it was at like 100% Rotten Tomatoes stuff when it came out. I don't know if I got our picks were in on time for me to get that or not. But
well, the way that works is because the scores can fluctuate.
It's at the
movies
end.
you draft. Yes, at the end of the year, like on January 1st. Then they award all of the Rotten Tomatoes points for whenever your movie came out in the past year. They're like, we've given it enough time to like level out. What the score now is probably what the score is going to be. There's no more jumps. Yeah, after this.
I gotcha. And then I went for one that was super expensive, Gladiator 2. That one
$30.
I definitely think is kind of award bait and award worthy, right? The from everything I've seen so far looks incredible. So I think that one will do very nicely. And then last but not least, I was like, you know what? Let me pick one that's already out. But I think will also be up there for a number of different awards and stuff. Challengers, one I still have not seen yet.
I am on Team Challengers. I was excited to see that a lot of people did draft it. I wanted it on my list. If it cost a little bit less, it would have been on there. This movie came out in like April. It was not box office wise, but like critically, it was a big hit. It was a movie a lot of people had been looking forward to.
Yeah.
It was pushed back after the strikes last year. And I remember hearing so many people lament, oh, but Challengers, why do I have to wait to see Challengers? I need my horny tennis movie. I think it has remained like one of the most popular films the whole year. I think it is going to come out back and surprise us. Like after all is said and done, I do think people are still going to want to nominate Challengers for something.
Yeah.
The score at the very least.
That was my thing, because when looking at the website, they hit you with the most expensive ones.
Yeah.
First at the top of the list of all the stuff you can pick from. And as you scroll, things get cheaper and cheaper. So I was going through my list, and I think I maybe skipped the most expensive stuff at the start, or mostly. And I jumped down a bit and then kind of went through the list. But then, yeah, as I hit the bottom of that list, I saw, I was like, I think I still have like $40 left here. So I was like, let me get Gladiator 2 and Challengers, right? So yeah, I not as much of a cohesive or not necessarily as informed of this one will be in the talk for this specific thing, but just ones that I thought generally, like I think these will do good in those kind of awards circles, if that makes sense. So
I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun.
Absolutely.
We'll check in every once in a while.
Indeed. So, Melissa, you went to go see Saturday Night. What did you think of it?
I had fun. This is a movie about the first night of Saturday Night Live. And it takes place in real time, the 90 minutes before the show goes live and it's on the air.
Yeah,
and all of the chaos in trying to pull everything together at the last minute. It's fast paced. It's frenetic. The cast is they've got a big cast. You know who's in this? Perry Mason.
Yeah, there you go.
Perry Mason. He plays George Carlin, who was the comedian guest on the first episode of Saturday Night Live. There's even so many different historical figures are in this, like Jim Henson, who did Muppet performances on early SNL. And he doesn't even say a word, but like the guy they cast to just stand next to him and be Frank Oz is a spot on Frank Oz.
That's awesome.
This is not a world I know well. I know embarrassingly little about Saturday Night Live. You'd really think I would know more. So I don't have a lot of context to put it in. And the movie is kind of corny. For one of the sketches, it takes place outside on the street. And instead of just rolling out like a sheet of vinyl with the bricks printed on it, they want to lay down actual bricks on like a pallet on the stage. And there's one stagehand putting the bricks together, slapping on the grout, putting in the bricks. And there's all these other Teamster guys who are watching him work. And he's like, you guys can't help me. And they keep having these joking disagreements like, bricks, no, that's the pipe fitters union. Nope, it's this union.
That's not my union.
It's that union, not me. And then at the end of the movie, when Lorne Michaels does prove to the network bigwig, we can do this. Put us on the air. And there's a rush to get everything ready. Then like the Teamster guy is like, hey, everyone, grab a brick.
That's great.
So it's that energy. But I don't mind it. It is a very solid, fun time.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems like kind of I don't know how intense it got, but it seemed very hectic, very chaotic, very much kind of that uncut gems, just chaos is happening.
Could have been more uncut gems, but pretty good.
And yeah, almost like a how did this get made kind of thing that we sometimes talk about here. The shows or the documentaries
story.
Of just like how did they make the deal with Michael Jordan to design the Jordan shoes? Yes, I'll go watch Air, and I did. It was fine. It was good, right?
This is Air this is Air for TV. It's Air for something that aired
for Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Have I already told you about Snack Shack?
You did, yes. You have mentioned that one.
Which also stars Gabriel LaBelle. Both of them do. And I wished Saturday Night hit some of the highs that Snack Shack did in terms of the frenzy and the scheming.
Cool, good. Well, I'm hoping to go see that soon. We thought about originally going to see a movie today, but we were like, we don't want to crowd our schedule and do too much on our day that we're supposed to be resting, right?
Movie is rest.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I watched a movie that's new on Netflix. If you want something you can check out without leaving your house. There's a movie called It's What's Inside.
It's What's Inside. Interesting.
This is a movie about a group of old college friends who are getting together like 10 years later on the eve of one of them getting married. Like this is his equivalent of like a bachelor party. He's like, I'm going to have all my old college friends, boys and girls, like come over, drink with me. We're going to hang out at my mom's old place. And one of the minor details of the movie is that his mother was an artist. And so it's this big mansion covered in like weird art installations, including just a big neon sign that says trauma out there on the porch.
Great. Love it.
And one of these old friends brings an unusual game to the party. The whole thing happens in one night, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's segmented in an interesting way, how it unfolds as you start to realize, oh, that's what this movie is about. That's what it's doing. it takes a little bit to like for you to realize what it is locking into.
Okay.
It's not a horror movie, but I might call it a thriller.
Okay. It almost looks like it would be a horror movie, and even their poster is kind of their tagline is "No body is leaving the same as they came," right? Which is kind of spooky-ish. Interesting though. It makes me think there's some kind of like body swapping stuff, but I don't know.
Would you like me to tell you if you are right?
Sure.
Yes, that there is a body swap. That's the thing the guy brings. He's like a tech genius. And what he brings is a machine that allows two bodies to like swap consciousness.
Interesting.
And he's like, we just play around with this thing in the lab. I thought I'd bring it. It sounds like a cool party game where it's like the game. It's like playing a game of Mafia or Werewolf or something, but you're all each other. So it's all of your friends and all their like
game
minds.
Where you have the like famous person's name on your forehead, and you can only ask questions of like, am I?
You know who you are. You have to convince everybody else that you are the person whose body you are in. And they're spending the time quizzing you and saying, no, you wouldn't. That person wouldn't say that. You're you. You know, like I know you're not Brett. That's definitely an Andrew thing to say. There's Andrew in there.
I gotcha. Okay.
It's that sort of a game. And then it does get kind of a murder mystery twist to it.
I gotcha. Cool.
Shot incredibly, like really interesting cinematography and editing.
That sounds fun.
It's a small, compact movie, and I think that's where they put a lot of the pizzazz in the post-production.
Cool. Good stuff. And then you also watched Widows.
This one's very different. This was my birthday treat to myself. I wanted to watch a movie that I was very sure I would like, but that I had never seen before. I wanted a little surprise. So I watched Steve McQueen's Widows. This is a crime drama from 2018, 2019. Yeah, fairly recent. I knew this had a stacked cast, and then as I was watching it, there's like 4 other actors I really like who just pop up in it who I didn't even know. I can't believe how many people are in this movie. John Barenthal is in it for just like 4 minutes, and then he's gone. Like that's all the John Barenthal we get. That's all the Carrie Coon we get. They put Garrett Dillahunt in it. I was just thinking earlier that day, gee, you know who I love and I wish I saw in more things? Garrett Dillahunt. There he is. Truly a feast.
Interesting.
This is a very... the tone of it is not fun, but the ride you go on is... This is a movie where this group of criminals who are on a heist, their car explodes and they all die. And the movie is about their widows. These women who don't know each other coming together. They've been put in massive debt by their husbands. And one of them finds her late husband's journal with the plans for the next heist. And she's like, ladies, let's pull this ourselves. Let's pay off these debts. Let's give ourselves a little money by becoming the criminals ourselves.
Interesting. It looks like there was also a 2002 TV miniseries of the same name, same plot. It almost looks like.
Huh. Well, I don't know that one.
Interesting. That's fun, though. That's cool. I think I vaguely remember seeing a trailer for this.
I really think you would like this one.
Okay. I will check it out then.
It's got something I've never seen before. Well, it's something I've seen before in another context. Picture a mob movie where they like have a clandestine meeting in a sauna.
Sure, yeah.
but I've never seen it with all women in a women's sauna before.
Okay. Yeah.
I just appreciate it. Oh, I just like
that's
the idea that
totally valid.
There's Viola Davis and Michelle Rodriguez and 6'3" Elizabeth Debicki wrapped in their towels trying to plan a scheme in a sauna and like intimidating this other unrelated woman out of the sauna.
Right. Yeah.
It's great.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, when I was at the movies last, I don't remember if it was for Megalopolis or for The Wild Robot. It must have been for The Wild Robot. Finally saw the trailer for Paddington 3. And I was so excited, Melissa. And Rachel kind of looks at me and was like, without saying it, is just like, you're a weirdo. Why are you so excited for this movie?
Many people are. Paddington is a force.
Yeah, and it was at that moment, to my horror, that I realized she hadn't seen any of the Paddington movies. And so I was like, we are watching these when we get home. So I went and I rewatched Paddington 1 and 2 with her. So now she finally understands just how amazing and how delightful these movies are. They're so good. So good. So yeah, we had a blast watching that. But that's kind of about it in my cinema corner. We talked about Megalopolis last time. I don't think I got to really talk about The Wild Robot. I think I had mentioned I had tickets for it. But we went to go see that as well, and that was spectacular. I liked it a lot. I don't know anything about the book that it's loosely based on or something. It's, from what I understand, the movie kind of took it in its own creative direction, but there is a sequel book. So I don't know what that means.
The Wilder Robot.
Right. Yeah. But I definitely recommend it if you haven't checked it out yet. It is worth going to go see.
I think it's only in theaters through the rest of this week.
Okay.
In my local area, just getting pushed out for Smile 2. So I'd like to see it while I can in the theater.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. It was a blast. Besides that, though, I've been catching up on some comics. Marvel has recently relaunched their Ultimate line, which is kind of a whole other side universe of stuff. And I have to say, the comics they've been putting out of that so far have been incredible. They've been awesome, especially Ultimate Spider-Man. It is some awesome stuff. So I'm excited to keep reading those books as they come out. There was a book I read called Postal that I thought was going to be a little bit more on the horror side of things. It was not as much. But it was interesting. It was there was this town, I guess, out in like Wyoming or that kind of area that had been set up to kind of operate by itself and was like a safe haven for criminals. But the town itself would not tolerate crime. So it was like this second chance for them. But the woman that ran the town, her kid is the main character, and he has Asperger's, and it was just that's not something that I really know about. So it was interesting to see a comic focusing on a character that has that in the midst of all of this action and drama and crime that's happening. It was interesting to read nonetheless. I read this semi-autobiographical comic called It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this recently won a bunch of Eisner Awards. It's by Zoe Thorgood. That was an interesting read to check out. I really enjoyed that. The artwork in that is it's very different from a normal comic. Sometimes it follows a fairly standard structure, and then sometimes it just kind of breaks out of that and is a lot more creative. I've been continuing to dip my toe into the massive verse, is what they're calling it.
What is
yes.
What is this?
So
have I heard of this?
Have you heard me mention the comic Radiant Black? I think
yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Yes.
Yes. So
I think you mentioned that it was part of a universe, but you never named the universe to me.
That universe is the massive universe.
Okay.
I guess because Radiant Black, themselves get their power from this like black hole looking thing. So I guess the idea of like a super massive black hole, right? Where they get their stuff, but they have a whole bunch of stuff that is like other characters in different parts of the world. Most of it hasn't really crossed over with the other books yet, but they have like maybe mentioned a name or something that like, oh, did you hear about what's happening over here in this thing? But the Radiant Black itself is very kind of Power Rangers coded, mixed with superheroes. I mean, I guess you could say the Power Rangers are superheroes, but there's Radiant Black, there's Radiant Red, there's Radiant Pink, right? There's all that stuff. But there's other kind of non Power Rangers coded stuff, including Rogue's Son, which has been one that I've been writing, and that one has surprised me a lot. I really enjoy that book, and kind of did not expect to. The character looks more like a knight in shining armor, or maybe more like a not necessarily demonic knight, but more like a dark knight. No pun intended to Batman. Does not look like Batman. But that's an interesting one that I've been really enjoying. And then the Dead Lucky is more kind of like modern day sci-fi. I'm not sure what the right terminology for that is. But the character themselves, she has like PTSD and survivor's guilt from being in the military, and her whole shtick is that one of her missions went entirely wrong. She was the only survivor, and now she is kind of haunted by the ghosts of her squad mates, and they kind of help her out and can control these other robots that are around her. It's interesting. So I've been checking out that, and then this book called Cowl, which is an acronym, the Chicago something Workers League. It's
Organized
basically like
Workers League.
Yes, thank you.
I've seen this before. Yeah.
So this book has been out for a while, and then it turns out that this book is also been kind of grandfathered into the massive verse, because one of the writers on Radiant Black also wrote Cowl, and in the massive verse, the events of the comic Cowl exist as a television show in their universe. So yeah, there's some interesting crossover with that, but that's what I've been up to recently. So good stuff. That's all I got comics there. So indeed, let's jump over to our pop culture lightning round and wrap everything up here. So just earlier today, we got an update on Invincible season 3. And season 3 is in fact coming February. I put that out. The February 6th is when it is coming, if I'm not mistaken here, 2025. And they announced that there would be no mid-season break like there was last time. But yeah, they put out a really good, really fun teaser trailer for that, where it's two of the characters sitting at a fast food restaurant talking about some of the things they've been up to, and it talks about the animation, and it shows you like different cells and sketches of the animation and the story words and stuff like that, to Stephen Yeun in the vocal booth as he's recording the lines that he's saying for the teaser, right, and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for that. In fairly recent news, Sugar got renewed for season 2. Melissa, I know you were
I watched all Sugar
in this, so yeah, that is getting a second season.
Interesting. Do you know what happens in Sugar?
I do not, and I kind of don't want you to spoil it for me.
I won't.
I heard is that you had questions on whether or not Colin Farrell's character, if he was a human or not. Like, is he a replicant? Is he a robot? That kind of thing. That's the only thing that I know.
I would love to hear you watch Sugar and go on that journey, and then report back to me with your feelings.
Yeah, I'm going to be signing back up for Apple TV. I think in January is where I've kind of mapped it out to be. Because there's I think season 4 of Slow Horses came out like a month ago or something like that. I think a while back we had mentioned that season 5 had already been greenlit, but also just today or recently they announced that season 6 has now also been greenlit for that. We got a recent trailer for season 2 of Silo on Apple TV, which I'm super stoked about. I cannot wait to watch that. That's out in November. Well, like I said, I might have to wait a little bit here as I wait for things to stack up.
Okay.
And then,
you could do what I do and just keep paying for Apple TV Plus, telling myself I'm going to go finish Slow Horses, and then something else happens.
I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to be like, okay, I need to deactivate that one for a couple months while I focus on Max, or while I focus on this one here. So they're getting expensive. It's getting real expensive.
They are.
Yeah. In other news, I know last episode there was talk about Aaron Pierre being potentially cast as Jon Stewart in Lanterns. That is now official. He has been cast as Jon Stewart, so I think that is pretty exciting. Stuff.
I realized what I know this guy from. He was in Old. Have you seen Old?
I have not, but I did see that was one of the things that he had been in recently.
Do you know who his character is in the movie Old?
No, I have no idea.
He plays a rapper named Mid-Size Sedan.
Hell yeah. Mid-Size Sedan has been cast as Jon Stewart. The first thing he summons, the first construct is just a mid-sized sedan.
That's also it's also a headline in the Cars universe, where they have DC Comics, but now they're remaking them entirely with cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fire truck to play Clark Kent.
And last but not least, I put this one in because I thought it was interesting. Not Formula One exactly, but motorsport. Keanu Reeves made his professional racing debut at the Toyota GR Cup at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway like a week ago now. And he finished 25th in the first race and 24th in the second race. I believe out of like 35 drivers who were in there. I think in that first race he at one point spun out and was almost in a wreck, but he was okay and was able to finish the race there. Yeah. He had been apparently in some celebrity racing thing before this a number of years ago.
Why do we not know more about the celebrity racing thing? Why wasn't it televised?
Who knows? Maybe it was.
Watch it? Can we watch it now? Is it in the archives? Is it deep in Peacock for us to view?
I have no idea.
Raced?
Who
what
knows?
did they race? Where? How fast? How many?
So yeah, I just thought that was a neat, fun fact, right? Keanu Reeves, especially considering that he's like 50. I don't know how many other like 50-year-olds go join a new sport at that age. Congratulations. Right? An inspiration to all others in his age. He's not 50. He's 60.
Already?
I just looked it up. He's 60. September 2nd, 1964.
Oh my gosh. See, that's the age when people retire. And he's like, no, right. I will start a new and very dangerous sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long life, Keanu.
He's still a spry guy out there. So, yeah, well, I think that is about it for the podcast. Let's wrap things up right there. Melissa, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
If you want to talk to me about your Oscar predictions for next year or your favorite cereal combos, you can email me. Just a good old-fashioned email. Contact me at yourhostmelissa@gmail.com.
Good stuff. And if you would like to follow me, I am at YoKyleSpringer. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at The Whatnauts, we are at The Whatnauts Official on Threads. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. If you're watching this on YouTube, plenty more videos on that side of the screen. You guys know the deal with all of that. That would help us out a bunch too. And yeah, this has been number 283 of The Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.